Yeah, I think we got an issue. I don't know why it's leaking this much, but it sure is. As some of you might remember from our second video, I believe it was, we brought our Kenworth truck up to NCI in Marshall, and it's done now, so that gets to come back home. I gotta find a spot for that now, but yeah, it was just warranty work that they had to do, so we didn't get a bill or nothing for it, which is really good. Been up here, this is the third time in a year now, so I'm glad they were able to figure out the problem this time and don't have to pay nothing for it, so that's really good. I think now we're gonna head back home and I'm gonna keep working on the sprayer and the sprayer trailer. Meadowlands are on their way out with chemical. I got the 2 bulk tanks out. I washed rinsed all the antifreeze out of them, so they should be good to go. I got just about all the water out of them. There's just a little bit underneath of the spout that I can't get to, so that should be okay. But I haven't dug into anything on why it was leaking like that earlier, but I can see it from here. I got the valve shut off, and on that first inductor cone I can see water dripping out of it, so that would be probably the issue once it gets all the pressure on it from the bulk tanks. I'm sure it drips even more. So before I turn the water on, I'll have to tighten those up more and try and get it to stop. But yeah, we got a good lake here in the shed. Walking through here and just everything is soaked. Wish I would have seen that a little bit sooner, but it is what it is. It'll dry eventually. So, yeah, once Meadowlands bring out chemical, I got golf league tonight, so I think I'm gonna call it a day once they bring that stuff out. I've just been I put the seed tender away, so I got that pickup back out, cleaned that all out, and then helped the rock pickers a bit. I didn't go picking, but ran to town, got them some stuff, and yeah, we got this truck back as you seen earlier. Need to clean some of the garbage out of there, but yeah, haven't really done much today, just a bunch of little stuff, trying to organize basically. So yeah, I think one of these upcoming days Kyle's gonna go out and do some replants with our 1-row planter, just in a few spots where one unit got plugged up or something like that. Yeah, just trying to use that 1-row just to make sure that no weeds come up in those spots. It makes it a little harder for when the corn gets up and almost canopied. But yeah, beans are coming up really good now. There's some over there right next to the shed. They're probably inch and a half up, so it's good to see. But yeah, I'm just fiddling around the yard right now, waiting on them. It's the next day now, about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Meadowlands brought chemical over. I think Central's coming out. I'm gonna load it up and then try and go spray some. Make sure they're just gonna be here to make sure all the rates are right and everything, and I'm not overloading something. Just making sure everything's good. So yeah, should be a productive day. was close. Just about hit the quad track with that boom. That's what we were looking for. Well, Central's here.
All right, today's the day.
Yep.
We're gonna start spraying. We got a mild wind from Minnesota. 10 miles an hour is like a calm day in Minnesota. So the biggest challenge of spraying corn or anything in Minnesota is the wind and the rain. So we got maybe a day or two that we have 10 or under. So we're gonna have to get going in the mornings.
Yep.
Just want to make sure the corn or weeds don't have dew on it. So if it's warm and they don't have dew, you can start pretty early.
Sure.
With the certain mixes we have, this corn mix we got, it's not real sensitive to late in the daytime. So as I mentioned earlier, we can go pretty late at night with this. Whereas the bean chemical, I call those banker's hour spraying. You kind of got to let those weeds get going during the day, and they kind of quit taking the chemical in the evening. So that's a fun thing on corn. We got wide window, spray till dark or into the dark even a little bit.
Sure.
Now a lot of the stuff we got in this mix, it's going to kill the weeds that are up, but it's also the biggest thing. It's going to give us a lot of residual, because our worst weed around here especially is water hemp, and that stuff keeps coming all summer long. So you can go out there now and think, there's hardly any weeds out here, why are we spraying? Well, nowadays you don't want to even let the weeds out of the ground, because first of all, certain chemicals, the weeds have become resistant to them because you try to kill them, and it, again, one makes it through and that one goes to seed, and that seed becomes resistant and it just compounds. So a lot of these products work better by just killing them before they even come out of the ground. So there's a lot of stuff in this mix we're doing that's going to give us good residual. So occasionally get people that say, I just don't see any weeds out here, why are we spraying? Well, we don't want to see weeds, because if you see a field full of weeds when you're driving by a field, well, that guy's not doing a good job, because it's maybe already too late. Sure. And early weed pressure can hurt weeds. I remember probably 10-15 years ago, your dad, he's like, what am I out here spraying for? The weeds aren't up. I was like, Dennis, just do it, trust me, it's got good residual. He left a strip, didn't tell me because he wanted to prove a point to me, and then later in the season he went and looked at that strip and it was solid weeds. So back in the day it was seaweed, killweed, back in the 2,4-D days, but now it's a lot different. So So you got about a 1,000-gallon tank on this sprayer. Yep. We're going to do about 12 gallons per acre of water with the chemical. You got a pulsating sprayer that helps with the wind too, and it helps when you slow down at the edges. The biggest thing is, we got auto shut off, so we're not going to have overlap. So that's awesome. That's a great technology to have. What else? Make sure you're careful with the wind today. You're going to be going along some beans. Again, this chemical in the tank it's going to kill beans if you spray it on the beans. So, sure. And all these chemicals we have, we were just filling. The rates are got to be very precise. We got some chemicals it's only 0.3 ounces per acre, and another chemical might be 1 quart. We got a nice cheat sheet in there showing how much we got to put in each tank. Yep. Because to be honest, some of these chemicals are very sensitive. If you put on too much, it's like, oh, no big deal, it's too much. Well, no, the crop has to metabolize it. And if it's too much for it to metabolize, you can hurt your crop, and also in the soil, it can carry over next year and hurt your beans. So that's why rates are always very important. And as you can see nowadays, there's such a recipe of things. It's not like we just put one thing in the tank. We had to put like 6 things in that darn tank. Yep. Just to make all the weeds die. Seems like every weed needs its own little chemical almost to kill it. It's kind of crazy.
Yep. So about 83 acres we can get done on a load. Yep. And we're doing 12 gallons per acre. Yeah. So we can get by with 10 sometimes. With the chemical we're using, it's systemic, we call it. So if it's a couple drops get on the leaf, it'll take it in and kill the whole plant. Certain products, we call them contact herbicides. That's where you need to use 20 with different nozzles. We need to cover the leaf like we're burning it with a torch, because you got to get the whole leaf covered. But with this stuff, it's very nice. It's just a couple drops should kill it and take it in the plant. So, sure. We got great spray conditions. It's pretty sunny today. It's 80 degrees. We had some rain lately. So the weeds should be very prone to taking in the chemical today for sure. Yeah. And speaking of the rain, that was a great rain. We didn't get too much. We got some. Your beans, we just got done planting beans a few days ago, which is awesome with the challenging spring you had. Yeah.
You know, we did have some variable soil conditions. Most of them got into moisture, but some did not. But that rain I just checked right now on the ones that weren't in moisture are already about a day away from poking through. So
Sure, good.
that's going to help clean that up a lot.
Yep. Yeah, I'm happy with how they're coming up so far with the way everything else is going.
Yep.
See?
I tell you, with farming, as you know, that planting is like the most important thing, to get a good stand and get it in the ground.
Yep.
After that, we just got to do a little spraying, and Mother Nature's going to do the rest for the most part. But we do have some spots in the corn. If we have a chance, we should probably try to clean up some drowned out spots, maybe some replanting. But yeah, Mother Nature is challenging us there because those spots are still a little wet yet today.
Sure.
And now you're spraying, so you got to pick which is the most important. But when it comes to spraying, if it's calm in Minnesota and it's not raining, you better be spraying. It's kind of the time of year we're at.
Yep, and that thing will go through a lot of mud. I've seen Dennis have it up to just about the frame many times.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's hope you don't have to.
Yeah.
I know they got big tires, but that doesn't mean they're made for going through big, thick mud. We don't want to really do that.
Yeah. We'll have to see how today goes. I'm sure I'll have to give Titans a couple calls just to make sure everything's right.
Yep.
But yeah, hopefully everything goes according to plan.
Yep.
I'm just pulling back into the farm here and kind of cut her close. Hopefully you can see that, but fuel tank sat empty for about the last 15 minutes. I didn't want to get stranded, so I'm glad I got back. Also, I see Nick is in the yard. I'm guessing it means he got his first tank sprayed. He's fueling up, and we will be refilling the sprayer here again for the second time today. So we'll get that rolling, and he'll be off spraying again. Well, I nearly ran the tractor out of gas, and now we ran the sprayer pump, or the pump for filling the sprayer up in the water truck, out of gas. So I think I'm gonna hop in my Ranger and probably take that gas can to town as soon as we get this filled. Nick needs some foaming agent, and he really can't he really can't spray until he gets that, because he's probably gonna end up missing too much or double spraying. So anyway, his mom Kathy took off and went to find some, and they don't have it. So Nick got in touch with this guy at the co-op, and he sent me over here about 20-25 miles away to go get some. So I took the day off work today. I was supposed to clean my garage and clean out my shop, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen today. So I guess we'll be back to spraying as soon as I go get this foaming agent and Nick gets it in there.
Well, I'm just about done with this field now after getting loaded up and waiting for foam, but now there is rain in the forecast, and it looks like it's a pretty good chance of it, so we'll have to see what comes of that. I think I'm gonna probably quit for a little while and just make sure I don't waste any chemical on having it rain and have it get all washed away. So yeah, probably gonna take a little break and make sure that nothing's coming. This is just the kind of deal where if I quit spraying, it's not gonna rain, but if I keep going spraying, it will rain. But yeah, I was gonna talk a little bit about the auto steer too. This is a Pro 600 monitor, not a 700, and when I go to the this screen, it's got like the light bar, and I don't know how to run this monitor. I've never tried to before, but when I set up the auto steer, it says I'm like 500 inches off from where I set my AB line, and then it tries throwing, instead of going north and south, it tries to send me like northwest. So something's not right with it. I've just been doing it by hand, because I can't be running over that much crops. At least by hand I run over a little, but for how young this corn is, it should pop back up, maybe be a little stunted. But yeah, we'll have to see what it looks like after I get done, how run over everything is. But yeah, it sucks with that rain coming in. We'll have to see what it looks like here in about an hour. Yeah, we've been having trouble with this filter for quite a few years. It just seems if you tighten it up, it starts leaking again, and then if you loosen it up a bit, then it stops, but then it starts again. Just can't find a good sweet spot for this one. I found it again, but I'm sure after one load goes through it, it'll probably start leaking again, and it is what it is. Just got to get a new cup, I guess, because we redid the gasket in it a couple times, and it just never seems to work. We never over tighten it when we put it back in. The gasket always seems good when we pull it out of it, so I think it just needs a whole new filter and housing on it. Try and figure something out for it, but yeah, I think that's gonna be the end of today. It looks like we got rain coming in about an hour, and that's what they told us for a rain fast, just so nothing gets washed off and everything is effective on it. It's raining pretty hard now, and by the looks of it, it's gonna rain like this for a little while. So yeah, I got 45 minutes is when I finish up spraying, and now it's raining. So God, and this one popped out of nowhere. I looked when I went out, and said no rain in the forecast, and then probably about 15 minutes later I looked and we were at a 40% chance, and 5 minutes later I looked and we were at an 80. So just stupid how that works, how when you have this much humidity it'll pop rain up like that like nothing. But yeah, we'll probably end the video there. So if you like today's video, please leave a comment, like, subscribe. Really helps us out, helps us to know that we're doing a good job and everybody's liking what we're putting out. So yeah, till next time, thank you.